want to see if it's broadcasting. Let's see how we do here.
Oh, okay, all right. Expense report. Thank you for replying to me.
I think we're gonna be, yes, you're welcome. I have a feeling we're gonna not get through, because it's still showing stream 14 hours ago from a live stream. I don't know. Anyways, we're recording, so I think once again it's gonna have to be posted after the fact. Do this. Try this one more time before we start and see. No. Hi, Claudine.
Hello.
So it looks like it's not broadcasting again.
Hi, Claudine.
Let me see this. All right, bear with me a minute. All right, why don't we bring this to order? If you could have everyone stand, please. We are recording, so we will at least get this broadcast afterwards. All right, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do a roll call, starting from Lisa.
Lisa Gattro?
Peg Hurd? Have you heard him?
Ray Brown. Bob Carrier.
Bob Carrier, and Humphrey Williams, so we do have a quorum. And we have Doug Shute here as well. So, we'll get started with the town operating budget. We were wrapped up, I'm gonna bring it up on the screen. Where we left off was the insurance and benefits and the sanitary sewer budgets. The town administrator, Ernie Krebling, informed me that the budget proposal that's there, the $769,919, is the actual. So they have finalized that, so I will entertain a motion on, well, actually, I don't really have to, but we'll do it anyways. I'll entertain a motion on that budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the $769,919 for insurance and benefits.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All right, seconded by Lisa Gautreaux. So, on the floor, any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0. All right, I'm gonna mark that here as approved.
Excuse me, Humphrey?
Yes,
Do
Larry.
you need a roll call for that?
Yeah, you're right, Larry. I'm gonna do that because of the video. Good point. We'll start from my left. So on the roll call vote on that.
Aye. Lisa Gattro.
Peg Heard, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carey, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So again, motion passes 6-0. Thanks, Larry. Thinking we're on, but we're not. All right, the sanitary sewer budget. The last time we were here, there was the difference in what we had made for adjustments to the BOS, but I know that Ernie came back and presented that to the select board.
Yes.
And everything is going to match up with what we proposed. I'm going to do a quick show on that for everyone here. I'm actually going to change the camera here so the people at home will understand too. Let me get to the camera. So at least when it's broadcast, they'll know what we're talking about. So there had been a $5,000 miscellaneous proposal. And after discussion, it's like miscellaneous items should be a $1 proposal. You shouldn't be something you're planning on spending that kind of money. So I was asked to divvy it out under maintenance. So it was. So I put it under the 2 maintenance items. I went from $2,600 on the sewer line maintenance to $3,500, and from the equipment maintenance to $7,500. It actually ended up being a $1,400 change rather than $1,500 because I told them I wasn't going to increase the budget. So the end result is a budget of $93,105. And before we go to motion, for everyone at home, this does get offset by the money that comes back into the sanitary sewer district. So I will entertain a motion on the sanitary sewer budget.
I will make a motion to approve the sanitary sewer budget of $93,105.
All right, do I have a second on that?
Second.
Seconded by Larry Brown. So motion on the floor from Peg Heard for $93,105, seconded by Larry Brown. Any discussion?
Question.
Mr. Brown.
There was a discussion as to the source and total of income to the sewer district. Was that necessarily resolved, and if so, do we have numbers?
Don't have numbers yet, no. Did ask, have not gotten a response back on that part of it yet.
The-
But when I do, I will bring that before the committee.
The earth did not shake on its axis.
No, this is true, but even still, we'll try to get that for one of the upcoming meetings. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, I will call for a roll call vote, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Heard, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carey, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye, so the motion passes for $93,105 being the budget for 2021 for sanitary sewer. 6-0. Thank you. All right, I want to see what this is, because I'll find out who's got what. Yeah. My wife's beginning to think we don't really hold meetings. It does get broadcast. All right. With that done, that completes the budget proposal aspect. What I did want to mention before we roll into the school is we did get, and I don't know if everyone saw, I did get the warrant articles forwarded to us. I'm going to hold back on that until a little bit later so that we can roll into the school budget. And again, all this is preliminary, and when we bring it up on the screen, I will go through the numbers. Yep.
Do we have to vote on the bottom line now that we've adjusted with the sewer budget?
We can do that. I know that's a good idea.
Yeah,
So
'cause
I'll bring it
was
back.
different, yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring it back and we'll go
Okay,
through.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
No, I appreciate you. In all honesty, let me make the approved change here, and I will do the same thing on the bottom. So no, that's the right thing, Peg. Thank you. All right.
Just the discussion from the previous time was that everything was in order and basically approved, except it would be with our agreement.
Yeah.
Writing that final number.
Yeah, but we can still call for it on this to finalize it. I agree with you, Larry. That's why I didn't think about it at first, but I'd rather do it and we'll finalize it this way. So I will entertain a motion on the grand total.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the grand total of the town budget of $4,525,019.
All right. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I'll give it to Larry Brown. So motion made by Peg Hurd, seconded by Larry Brown for a total budget for the town of $4,525,019. $4,525,019.
And no cents.
And no cents. Do I have any discussion on that? All right, hearing none, we'll call for the roll call vote, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carrier, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye, so the motion passes 6-0. The town budget proposal will be $4,525,000, $525,019.00. Wow, that's a tough one to say tonight. All right, that's it for the town budget for now, and we will pull the school budget up. Thank you for that, everybody. Now, let me get this. And the school, where did it go? Right there. All right, now we'll do the same, we'll go through the same approach, and if there's any discussion, I'm gonna start from the summary table on the school budget, which I have before us. You guys do have that in your package. It is the third part of it. I've actually tried to shorten up on the pages, so we'll go through each of the departments. I will start, and then if there's any discussion, we will pull the individual one up. Everybody's still got their books, and I can bring it up on the screen for any of the discussion for specifics. All right, the first budget proposal, and this will be this is for, and I'm gonna make sure anybody at home that's watching this understands that we're looking at fiscal year 22 for the proposed budget. And as well as the default budget is under fiscal year 22 because the school year is July 1st of 2021 to June 30th of 2022. I couldn't say the other thing for the numbers, but I do know that part of that. We're gonna have a little fun tonight, hopefully. All right, so I'm gonna start off with the regular education, which is the Department 100.1100. We have a default budget of $3,216,698.26, with a proposed budget of $3,207,187.58. Therefore, the proposed budget versus the default is $9,510.68 below the default budget. I will entertain a motion on the regular education.
I'll make a motion, Peg Hurd, to approve the regular education proposed budget of $3,207,187.58.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, second by Lisa Gautreau. So the proposal is $3,207,187.58 from Peg Hurd as the proposal, and Lisa Gautreau as a second. Open for discussion. All right, hearing none, we'll go to a roll call vote, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carrier, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye, so the motion passes. All right, next one up is the special education, 100.1200 being the department. We have a default budget of $3,557,076.28, with a proposed budget of $3,378,524.42. The proposed budget versus the default is $178,551.86 under the default budget. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the special education budget of $3,378,524.42.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Larry Brown. So the motion on the floor from Peg Hurd is to approve the budget of $3,378,524.42 and was seconded by Larry Brown. It's open for discussion. Mr. Brown?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just to repeat, since this is a new night and new people listening, that this is not the slam dunk that it may sound like to the first casual listener.
Mm-hmm.
Like the town budget, this has been gone over by the school, been gone over by the budget committee, and each time both sides have tried to get to the best effective number. And this is just not you do not smell ink on the rubber stamp.
Exactly.
On this budget.
No, valid point, and just in case you're not heard, because I know they can hear me a little bit better, as Mr. Brown pointed out, this is not an ink, like a rubber stamped on this budget, because there's been a lot of work that's gone in from all around, between the school board, school administration, the principals, all involved, as well as the budget committee. We have already had our meeting with the school board and the administration, beginning of this month, and gone through these. Not that there won't be discussions or any changes, we're looking at it but that's a very good point, Larry. Although we've already approved the first one pretty easily and we're looking to approve the second line item, it does not mean that it's just let it go. There's a lot of work to this. All right, any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
we
Bob.
probably should include that the non-public tuitions are way up. And the current budget is not gonna cover it that we're on now. This proposed one is already put it in there. They've made a lot of changes in there. They've level funded a lot of the lines and some have been reduced. And to bring it down below the default is a lot of work went into that.
No, this is true. That's a valid point, and it's the same thing. And it's a good time to bring it up. We asked the town to do that when I met before the select board and with the town administrator to bring in a budget below the default, which we have just shown that we were below the default budget, and we asked the school to do the same, and they have come in. And under special education, this is a best guess anytime if we get new people in that this thing may still has to be covered per state and federal law requirements. This is a great effort. You can see here that the default budget being $178,551.86 above. There's always a possibility that there'll be more, but once we're done with finalizing the budget, it would have to come out of another area to cover it. So when we come up with a bottom line budget for this, that is what the school will have to work with going into the deliberative session, I should say, and then going forward from there for the town to vote on. But
Just
valid point, Bob, yes.
Okay, just for Amy's, that Bob Carrier made the comment.
Yep.
Put my name in there.
No.
Okay.
No, that's a good point. And again, we're not broadcasting, we're recording, we need to mention the names. Any other discussion on the special education budget? All right, hearing none, I'm gonna call for a roll call vote on special education, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carrier, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye, so the motion passes. Budget for special education, $3,378,524.42. I do wanna also make one more statement. I know we talked about this at our meeting early December when we met with the school board, but costs on the education are also offset by the money that comes in from the state. So when you're seeing a bottom line budget here for over $11 million, by the time the money comes back out, and we'll discuss that at the end. The bottom line is not $11 million. As a matter of fact, I have that in here, and we'll talk to that number afterwards. There's almost $5 million that comes off of this from monies that come into the school. All right, the next thing up is Medicaid fees. Department 100.1299, there is a default budget of $11,846.38 with a proposed budget of $6,400. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the support services or Medicaid fees of $6,400.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Lisa Gautreaux. So a motion on the floor from Peg Hurd to approve the budget of $6,400 for Medicaid fees, seconded by Lisa Gautreaux. Open for discussion. All right, hearing none, I'll call for a roll call vote, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gautreaux, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Buddy, Burnham, aye.
Bob Carey, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye, so the motion passes 6-0. Budget being $6,400 for Medicaid fees. All right, next up is vocational programs, the Department 100.1300. There is a default budget of $95,799.59 and a proposed budget of $110,577.65. Do I have a motion on the floor?
I'll make a motion to approve the vocational programs proposed budget of $110,577.65.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Second by Larry Brown. So the motion on the floor from Peg Hurd for $110,577.65 for the proposed budget, seconded by Larry Brown. Open for discussion. Nope. Okay, I thought you were saying something, Larry.
does the school board wish to comment on the rise?
On the rise. That's- Go ahead, Peg.
Just more students, oh, there's Larry, okay. More students going to, vocational programs, so it's tuition.
Okay. Then, throw the softball question up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a realization of the very uncertain and unsettled nature of higher education, and the realization that local jobs and local employment may come better out of local resources? Would you like a different question?
That
Yes
might
and
be
yes.
easy. I do need you to speak up a little bit, Larry, because
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Yes and yes. Does that answer both questions?
Thank you and thank you. Anyway, so people are seeing that local tech jobs that they can prepare for starting in high school are better than shooting 4 years into the future.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Right, the increase is in vocational education.
Yep, yep.
Just so,
And it's tuition.
well, and I'll bring that up, and I'll actually show that on the screen too, seeing as to how that was brought up. It's a,
Yeah, and our expenses are higher too this year because we've had more kids who go. And the programs, Larry, just to expand, a lot of them, they end up at the end of 2 years with, I'm just gonna call it a certificate because I don't know what else to call it, but they're certified to do whatever it was that they went to school for 2 years. So, if that helps,
Yes.
okay.
so.
It helps the outsiders too.
Yep, so anyways, public right now, when they get to see this, will see that the increase of the tuition aspect is over the default is $16,006.79. They reduce some other things between travel and supplies. Obviously, if there's more here, less in travel.
Yeah.
So, all right, any other discussion on the vocational programs? Mr. Brown?
Yes, I'll just hammer that, the advantage of it from my own reading, which is, for example, the new high-strength boron steels that are being used in automobile frame construction are not responsive to standard welding techniques. Consequently, your equipment for use in vocational auto trades programs is more expensive, and you become more technically skilled when you finish such a program. Local talent, local jobs, local training.
Thank you.
Very good point. Any other comments or discussion? All right, I'm gonna bring it back to the summary table. I'm gonna call for a roll call vote, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, oh yes.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Paul Carey, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So the proposed budget of $110,577.65 for vocational programs has been approved, 6-0. All right, the next one up is other instructional programs, Department 100.14. We have a default budget of $195,624.42 with a proposed budget of $202,769.39. Do I have a motion on the floor?
I'll make a motion to approve the other instructional programs for $202,769.39.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Lisa Gautreaux. So Peg Hurd made the motion to approve the budget of $202,769.39 for other instructional programs, seconded by Lisa Gautreaux. It is open for discussion. All right, I'm going to, this has got an increase of $7,144.97. Do you, hold on 1 second here, I'm just trying to figure out what I've got. Wow, seriously? It's repeating itself now. Peg, would you like to make any, I'll bring up the,
Yeah, I am looking,
program.
summer school, salaries,
the biggest one, support center health is in there as well. There's a,
yeah, there's support center, there's curriculum, salaries. The co-curricular activities and their salaries are CBA driven or contract driven. Along with, the FICA. Summer school, I'm just looking at what.
it appears almost all of it is salary related.
Right.
Salary and
Right.
benefits related.
Right.
And there's been reductions in some of the other areas like the umpires and referees and
Yeah.
things like that.
And as far as supplies are concerned, it's kind of, I took away from here, but I put some more back in on, either elementary or middle school, so.
Okay.
And then, some replacements of equipment. Dues. Part of the problem too is, like, I'm looking at the elementary co-curricular dues. We had nothing because we're still working on an old default.
Yeah, now they're asking for
Yeah.
$350,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
So, it's all the extras for the kids.
Any other comments? All right, hearing none, I'm gonna call for a roll call vote, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Paul Carey, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So the motion passes. For other instructional programs, the budget of $202,769.39. Next up is guidance. Department 100.2120. We have a default budget of $341,705.67. We have a proposed budget of $343,123.25 for an increase of $1,417.58. Do I have? Go ahead,
Will
Peg.
make a motion to approve the guidance proposed budget of $343,123.25.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Larry Brown. So the motion on the floor from Peg Hurd is to approve the budget of $343,123.25, seconded by Larry Brown. Open for discussion. I will bring that up too. It is slight changes in dealing with the salary and benefits. Is what it. And again, as you mentioned earlier, so anyone at home didn't know what CBA was, the collective bargaining agreement that was recently signed. And that's also where salaries went down with the regular teachers, cause we've had newer teachers come in, so. Alright, any other comments? Alright, Larry, was that, or you were gonna?
Well, it, as you said, it is controlled by contract, but even so, I am surprised that with the pressures of isolation, uncertainty, family losses, just the tedium of not having the contacts of regular school, that there will not be an increase in services over this academic year.
Well, this is for next year.
Yeah.
There have been some increases this year in expenditures, which we'll go over later.
Change that to September 1,
Yeah, so I mean, again, and that's tough, you're right, but again, we're looking at starting in July next year, hopefully we're back to
Normal.
more of a normal program. So, all right, any other discussion?
I'm
Peg?
not sure, Larry, exactly. I'm sorry, I'm just picking dog hair off my black pants.
Nobody can see you.
Oh, good, okay. One of the things, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but even this year, with the hybrid and kids remote, the guidance counselors are very, very much involved with students. Elementary on Fridays, their cohorts go in on different Fridays, and the guidance counselor and other people are working on helping them, basically, and not so much academics as how are we doing, can we do this, blah, 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 and basically just trying to get them through this horrible situation that we're all in, so just an FYI, they're still working very hard.
Yes, they are, and,
Everybody's working very hard, believe it or not.
oh no, this is very true. This is very trying times, no doubt. All right, any other comments or discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll call for a roll call vote, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Perrier, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So the motion passes for the guidance budget of $343,123.25. Next up is the nurses, Department 100.2130. There is a default budget of $137,386.65 and a proposed budget of $137,636.65, increase of $250. I will entertain a motion.
I will make a motion, for approving the nurse budget, and it was $137,636.65.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Lisa Gattro. So the motion on the floor made by Peg Hurd is to approve the budget for the nurses department for $137,636.65, seconded by Lisa Gattro. It is open for discussion. Mr. Carrier.
Has there been changes in the nurses? Because the salaries have been reduced.
Yes, the high school nurse, was new. I don't even know what year it is anymore. I know you told me earlier it was 2020.
Yeah, this is for 2022, yeah.
But she started last year, and the person that she replaced, who was, way up here and getting longevity and everything, much lower pay scale. So again, it's based on whatever the budget was, 45 years ago, the default. Does that answer your question, Bob?
Yeah, the health also went down a lot.
Yeah.
well, so.
Yeah, and health, it depends, I mean, if the person who left had, say, a family plan or two-person plan, and the person coming in has a single-person plan, or, you know, I think the elementary nurse has stayed the same, so it would just be the high school nurse.
Yeah, it's up here on the screen right now. So the salary in 21 for the nurse, and that was from a default,
Right,
was 32,529.60. But as you said, we hired a new nurse at a lower scale. 26,403 was a little less than that last year is what they were paid. But yes, under the health insurance, that's a big change. The high school nurse and the middle school nurse health insurance dropped dramatically from both of those. I mean, they match up with the default.
right.
But for anyone, but the reality is this is almost a $21,000 drop from what was there from the 21 budget.
Or actually, what was the 18 budget?
Yeah, it's basically for the
Yeah.
it's been for 3 years.
Yeah,
So, all right. Any other comments or discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
they've been reduced, most of the lines have been reduced.
Almost all of it's been reduced because of the fact that now that the new collective bargaining agreement went through, now they've made the change to the default budget as well. So
Right.
they couldn't make it until the contract went through. That's correct, right?
Yes.
Yes. So now that that's gone through, and it's similar to what we're gonna see as far as the town goes, if we can get we can get a pay plan in place for the town. Same type of thing. All right, any other comments? Bob, you all set?
All set.
All right. So, I will call for a roll call vote for the budget, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Heard, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carey, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So the motion on the floor for a budget of $137,636.65 for the nurse department is approved, 6-0. All right, next up, improvement of instruction. Department is 100.2210. There is a default budget of $57,825.87 and a proposed budget of $38,731.40 for a reduction of $19,094.47. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the budget for improvement of instruction of $38,731.40.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Larry Brown. So the motion on the floor from Peg Heard is to approve the budget for improvement of instruction for $38,731.40, seconded by Larry Brown. It is open for discussion. I will bring that up. Peg?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if anybody does not know what that is, that's also controlled by the teacher contract,
Mm-hmm.
but it's courses, and we always kind of everybody is entitled to so much money, all of the teachers, but obviously not all of them
Take advantage
of it.
Yep.
So Nate always takes an average.
Okay.
And the proposed is based on what actually has been used.
in the last few years.
Whereas the default is saying, okay, we have to allow for so much because of the contract, so.
No, that makes sense. And for anyone that's looking at it on the screen, the tuition in the conferences, that's not tuition for students, that's tuition
Right.
for the teachers themselves and conferences for the
Right.
teachers themselves. So yes, the budget last year, which was carried over for a few years as a default, was $57,825.87. So it's a reduction from that, which was the same. So basically the default carries over from last year. So it's same this year, and we're reducing the overall proposed budget.
Correct.
Okay. Any other comments? All right. Hearing none, I will call for a roll call vote for improvement of instruction, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Heard, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carey, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So the motion passes 6-0 for improvement of instruction for a budget of $38,731.40. Next up is the budget for the library, Department 100.2220. There is a default budget of $173,202.27. There is a proposed budget of $170,854.67 for a reduction versus the default of $2,347.60. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the library budget of $170,854.67.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Lisa Gattro. So the motion on the floor from Peg Hurd is to approve the budget for the library for $170,854.67. Seconded by Lisa Gattro. Open for discussion. We'll bring that up. The reductions, as it's showing up here on the screen, as some minor reductions in books and software and materials. Everything else has remained. For the salaries, the insurances and all that have remained the same. So the only thing was there was an adjustment, like the high school libraries, I should say, the middle school library software, a slight increase, but there's a decrease in most of the others. So, and then there's a slight increase in furniture. So overall, it's a reduction, a pretty good reduction here for $2,300. Is there any other comments? All right, hearing none, I will call for roll call vote, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carrier, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. The motion passes for the library budget, $170,854.67. All right, next up is the school board budget. The department is 100.2310. There is a default budget of $53,485.10. There is a proposed budget of $53,533.34, increase of $48.24. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the school board proposed budget of $53,533.34.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Lisa Gattro. So motion on the floor from Peg Hurd is to approve the budget for the school board, $53,533.34, and seconded by Lisa Gattro. It is open for discussion. The slight increase is in dealing with the secretary's
Yes.
salary and insurances.
No insurance.
I should say the
FICA,
benefits, the FICA benefits. And other than that, there's a reduction of the district reports to offset the cost.
Right.
There's also a slight increase in dues for the school board. But all in all, there's just a slight increase of, as you see there, $48.24. Are there any other comments? All right, hearing none, I'll call for a roll call vote, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carrier, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So the motion passes for the school board budget, $53,533.34. Next up, school administration unit expenses. The department is 100.2320. There is a default budget of $406,236.80 with a proposed budget of $433,609.54. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the SAU budget of $433,699.54.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Lisa Gattro. All right, so we have a motion on the floor from Peg Hurd for the SAU expense budget to be $433,699.54, seconded by Lisa Gattro. Open for discussion. You want to talk to this while I bring it up, Peg?
Yeah. The big difference is, once again, we are working on an old budget, our default budget. There's an increase for the superintendent, an increase for the business administrator, primarily because he got his certification, so we compensated him for that. Office employees and custodian, they got a 2% increase. I'm just looking, workers' comp went down, some insurances, but primarily, I'm just looking at that 27,000.
Yeah, the maintenance agreement too.
Maintenance agreement was way up there
Yep.
because we're looking for a server. Yes, I do believe that was the server.
That's actually, there was another section on that too, but that might be
Yeah.
part of that.
Printer maintenance, phone system. I don't know what an IV is.
Yeah.
What's an IV?
Which one are you talking about?
I'm looking at the 54,300. And underneath, I mean, I know what all of the others are, but I don't know what IV stands for. Doug, do you know what IV stands for?
No,
Under technical?
At this point.
Oh, you went down to the okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
the maintenance agreements.
Yeah,
because
as
that's
far
all-
as the comments
Right.
went, yes. Okay. I'm looking on the screen going,
Oh, I'm
there are people
sorry.
at home and when they see this later are going, there's no IV on the screen. You're reading from the, yeah, you're reading from the notes and dealing with the maintenance agreement. I want to address your comment too, so that the people at home understand too, that the superintendent's salary and the business administrator salary, when we had the meeting with the school board and the administrator, they are not getting a huge increase from last year. This is similar to the comments when we talked about the town budget. This year, we actually had the town budget show what the employees were receiving for salary this year. So when we saw changes in salary, it was only a 2% increase. This is a 2% increase for both the superintendent and the business administrator as well from what they're currently being paid. So what we're asking for, and it's not gonna be this year, but for future years, the business administrator is going to put current salary information down as what we had asked for, and he agreed to that. So
Yeah.
that'll make it a bit easier. There was also a note on the screen for the public. They'll see this when this is broadcast. I had asked a question back at our meeting about a pay plan.
Right.
Because we do have a collective bargaining agreement that is in place for the teachers, the principals, and other personnel as far as the school itself goes, but the business administrator and the superintendent are not under a pay plan.
Right.
And I know I'll come to you in a second, Doug. And I had talked about whether or not you should go forward with that. So Doug, shoot.
Well, the board, not the whole board, some of the majority of the board turned down that pay retention plan.
Turn down not putting in for a pay plan. Okay, but again, that's what the note was for. So that's between the school board and that's up to the school board to go looking into that. Yes.
So you asked the board, was asked to look into these.
Okay, well anyways, the other thing that was up here was in dealing with technical services and the maintenance agreement. I had asked the question about if it's a maintenance agreement, whether or not the default should have gone up. And at this point, no, because of the type of agreement that they're looking forward to. But that, I didn't take the note off because we're still working
Right.
off of that from that particular point in time. So, all right, so we understand the increases. Retirement, other benefits as well, because of the salary increases, that's where most of that increase has come from. Any other comments or discussion? All right, hearing none, I will call for a roll call vote.
Lisa Gatra, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carrier, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. Motion passes for the SAU budget of $433,699.54. Next up, Department Office of Principal, Department number 100.2410. There is a default budget of $668,764.63 with a proposed budget of $723,976.72, increase of $55,212.09 over the default. Do I have a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the Office of Principal proposed budget of $723,976.72.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, so motion on the floor from Peg Hurd is to approve the budget proposal for Office of Principal for $723,976.72, seconded by Lisa Gautreau. Open for discussion.
A lot of that increase, again, because we're going on an old default budget, there were increases. We have a second, secretary at the high school, or middle high school.
Yep.
Health, insurance, some went up, some went down, just looking at, seeing if I can come up with some more of this stuff.
The big jump was on the two salaries for
Right.
for the secretaries, and again, they had actually gotten increases, I think, prior to this, correct?
Right.
So they're only getting 2% increase, from what I
For
understood.
this year, yes, if they are.
Okay.
And I'm just
Now
looking at,
I did not ask that night. The secretaries do not fall under the pay plan, do they? A pay plan.
they actually have a pay plan.
It wasn't part of the teachers' collective
No, but
bargaining
it's
agreement.
not part of the teachers.
Okay.
And then, some health changes.
Right, yeah, and that was one of the ones I've got here on the screen. The elementary principal's health insurance was a big change.
Right.
And that had to do with the change in the plan.
Yeah.
All right, then there was drops in the middle. Principal secretary, MES, the principal secretary health dropped. I'm just gonna slightly go through these. Most of this retirement changes. Another big thing in here that wasn't there before was the accreditation that you're looking for,
Right.
the NEASC. You wanna talk to that?
Yes. One of the things, having been involved, in my prior job with accreditation, it's a very lengthy process, but it really does look at the best practices and what's happening in the actual school. What are the teachers doing? How is that relating to the world and standards and everything? But one of the things people always seem to ask, townspeople have the question, why are we spending all of this money on the high school when it's not an accredited high school? And I hope I said that word right. It's one of
You
those
said it
words
right.
that I
No,
can't.
you said it right.
There were too many D's and T's in there. So Jan has put it in for the last couple of years and it's always been taken out. And I feel very, very strongly, especially if we are going to be moving forward once this pandemic dies down a little bit, looking to have other schools in the area combine and come to Newt. It would be a better selling point
If
to
you're
say,
accredited.
yes, Newt is accredited. It is a 2-year process, so this would be the money to get everything started. So, I think it's a very, very positive thing, and I've been disappointed that it's been cut in the past,
Mhm.
so I'm happy that it's there and staying there this year.
Thank you for that. And the other thing was also, there's the
Maintenance.
maintenance agreements,
Yeah.
and the maintenance agreements on that one. I don't remember the notes on that, but again, that was another one that Nate had mentioned. I forget what the note was. I just want to address it briefly, because that was a good change.
Yeah, part of the maintenance
You didn't have it on the specific notes. The real question was why the default didn't match it, and he stated that you're looking
Right.
at new maintenance agreements, not something that has been part of the default in the past.
Right.
So,
And I remember that, his reasoning was speaking with the attorney, even though it's an agreement, it's not a contractual type agreement. So the attorney basically said, no, I do not feel comfortable putting it in with a default, so.
okay. All right. And just so anyone at home, when you do see this, that was my question, was if it's an agreement, if it's a maintenance agreement or a contract,
Right.
the default would match, but if it is not per contract at this point in time, then it would not be matched.
Yep.
All right, any other comments? Bob?
Bob Carrier. I was looking at the copier lease. One was reduced from 4,800 to 2,500, and the other two copier lease are gone. They've been taken out. And if you look down the postage, printing, and travel, they've either been level funded or reduced.
Correct.
So there's some reductions in here.
Yep.
I just wanna make note.
No, they're trying to balance it out a little bit here. I mean, the accreditation, or trying to get the high school accredited is a big thing. And to touch back on, I mean, the comments obviously have been to try to find a way to combine schools for Newt or Farmington or Wakefield or whoever. How do we turn around and try to help save costs across communities? Having an accredited high school would be a plus for bringing people in.
And I
If
know
that's,
in
if
the-
that's where we end up going. I mean,
Right, but I
so.
know in the past, and I have no clue because it was before I was on the board, but I guess they tried to become accredited before, but because there wasn't a cafeteria, so, I mean, they were like physical disqualifiers.
Part of it was also, from what I understand, there was also having to do with disabled access for some of the stuff at the high school. That's been adjusted.
Yeah, and now they don't look, I mean, you have appropriate ingress and egress,
Right.
then at this point, they really are looking at more the program of studies
Okay.
than they are in the physical
Okay.
plant,
All right.
so.
Yes, Doug.
Accreditation isn't just the high school that gets accredited now.
It's the whole school system.
No, it's just,
SAU, the kindergarten, all of
no,
that.
it's just the high
I
school.
thought Jan was saying this was just for the high school.
This is
already.
just for the high school.
Right,
Yes, well, that's all I was addressing is
I'm
this
just saying people
particular
don't
line.
realize
Yeah, okay.
K through 12 can be accredited, the SAU can be accredited, and
Mm-hmm.
the whole 9 yards.
No, that makes sense. Like I said, just addressing this one. Mr. Brown?
Mr. Chairman, as memory serves, the original accreditation process involved a rigid use of the classroom size, which could not be met, as well as Iowa-style acreage for athletic events, which we could not do. And Jan was very specific in that a sea change of attitude having come over the accreditation agency itself, they are more understanding of the situation.
Okay.
With the emphasis on the instructional programs.
Right.
What I wanna just bring up at this point, this is also something, I mean, we're looking at it for the budget standpoint now. Anybody that has questions on those types of things, that is please, come forward at the deliberative session as well to turn around and ask directly, because the principals will be there at that point in time, so. It is a plus to have it accredited, there's no doubt about that. All right, any other comments? All right, hearing none, I will call for a roll call vote on the budget for the Office of Principal, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Bird, aye.
Larry Brown,
Claudine Burnham, I.
Bob Carrier, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So the budget for Office of Principal for $723,976.72 approved, 6-0. All right. Next up is Operation and Maintenance Department, 100.2610. There is a default budget of $817,045.60 with a proposed budget of $801,091.82 for a reduction from the default of $15,953.78. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the operation and maintenance proposed budget of $801,091.82.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor from Peg Hurd to approve the budget for operation and maintenance for $801,091.82 and seconded by Lisa Gautreau. It is open for discussion. I'm going to bring up the report. There's laughter in the background, but
Mr. Chairman, I humbly apologize. It crosses my mind that $15,953.78, it is about half the price of the pickup truck minus its plow.
yeah, probably true. But what we do have is for the public, is on the screen here is the custodian salary for the middle and high school. And the reason I know this is the middle and high school is the number, .2, just so anybody says, how does he know that? It doesn't say that. Has been reduced by almost $13,000. That is the biggest piece of it, because when you take that into account, plus the retirement and benefits, that pretty much reduces most of that. There's been a slight increase in services, contract services, and there's been an increase in maintenance and repair of the buildings. They are old buildings and that, but again, they kind of balance that all out. So overall, I don't know if anybody has any additional comments.
Just the
Thank-
reduction in salaries, again, replacement.
Yep. Any other comments, questions? All right. Hearing none, I will call for a roll call vote for operation and maintenance, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Bird, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, I.
Bob Carrier, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So the motion for a budget for operation and maintenance of $801,091.82 passes 6-0. Next up is transportation, Department 100.2710. There is a default budget of $595,116.12 and a proposed budget of $650,098.10 for an increase of over the default of $54,981.98. Do I have a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the transportation proposed budget of $650,098.10.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, so motion on the floor from Peg Hurd to approve the budget for transportation for $650,098.10, seconded by Lisa Gautreau. Open for discussion. I'm gonna bring this up. I do know that the vocational driver's salary, that's an increase, and again, this was the proposal last year, so it's really not even an increase over what, I think it's what they were being paid, but this is because the default budget wasn't changed. I am gonna open up a comment though on my own, and I know I asked this question at the meeting. There was an increase, and I think, Bob, you brought it up as well, I think when we talked about it, that there was an increase in the bus leases. When asked, the comment was this was to purchase a new bus. So I brought it up then and I'm bringing it up now. It's not a place for purchasing a new bus. You need to get the bus before you can turn around and put that back into the leases, so it should either be a warrant article request or a capital improvement item of some sort. So, I know I'm not in favor of increasing something to go purchase a new bus under this. Yes, Mr. Brown?
That, it is my understanding that the recommendations of the CIP committee are advisory to the board, to the select board, and advisory to the school board.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no requirement that a CIP recommendation or non-recommendation of the CIP committee be handled as a capital expense.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I understand, it's advisory, that's why I made the comment, either a warrant article or to try to go forward that type of thing. The idea behind that type of program is to try to spread the expense out, not saying that it's not done through the lease, but generally speaking, to turn around and get that kind of increase up front, you need to start from getting it first. So,
Well, some of these lease amounts are on the existing leases. I'm looking at the,
oh, I do know that there, but the increase per Nate was to try, because he says, I haven't been able to get a bus another way. And that was the reason for this increase, was to try to get a bus that way. So, I mean, knowing that was brought forward.
right,
That is not how we normally put forward a budget request. And I understand how hard it's been to try to get the things, but that's not how we put it forward in the town either. You know, for a new purchase, it's gotta be addressed some other way.
We have addressed it other ways and it doesn't pass.
Okay, but that doesn't mean you put it in here. That's all I'm saying, Doug. This isn't a fight, but.
No, I'm not fighting with you. We're gonna try to do the plow again, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So try to put it in a capital reserve fund. Now, if it doesn't go again, what do I do?
To me, I think it's, I don't have an answer on how to turn around and get the town to say yes. I mean, I just know that putting it here is not how the budget process works.
Well, you gotta get a bus somewhere, because if you lose a bus, you don't have a bus. how you gonna transport
By the way, I don't disagree with you. I'm not saying there isn't a need for the bus, and I'm not saying there isn't a need for a plow, but that's something that has to go before the town to be voted on that particular item when you're spending that kind of money. This is an individual line item within the budget, okay? Could they address it at the town? Sure, it can be addressed at the deliberative session. But if you're to talk about something on an individual line item, you're allowed to address one type of thing, you know, in the deliberative session. This is trying to bypass how it would normally be done, and that's what, and I'm not arguing that you guys don't need a bus, because I didn't say you don't. Obviously, we have to have the transportation for the students, you have to have the ability to plow the property,
But how?
but it has to be sold to the community somehow.
Well, I'm trying to sell.
I understand that.
We've tried to sell a plow truck, okay?
Yeah.
We've not succeeded.
I understand that.
How else do I do it?
Well, again, Mr. Brown, you look like you were going to address that.
That the question would be, that wonderful word licit, L-I-C-I-T.
Mhm.
If it is licit for the school district to place an expense of what, how much is the bus?
Depends
Well-
on what you want, though.
Well,
This would be an increase of $46,000
okay.
a year.
Now, if it is licit to put that $46,000 in the operating budget, and the budget is a single item and it is not struck out at the deliberative session, that is the answer. If it is not licit to put it in, then that will be addressed by suit by any interested party.
No, valid point. Valid point. And again, this is part of the discussion, so. Peg?
Yeah, one of the other huge increases, and it's based on new students that we have this year, that we have to contract services out for transporting special ed students.
That's actually in the next department. I know the one you're talking about, that's in the next department.
Oh, it's special ed
Yes,
transportation.
no,
Never
and I
mind,
know
never
what,
mind.
no, I know where you're at, and
Never
I
mind,
just
never
want,
mind. Yep,
and I know we've addressed that, and I'm gonna bring that, I mean, that
Okay.
was a valid point,
Sorry.
but, no.
it's just
And-
transportation, you know?
Nope. And again, that was my comment, I don't know if anyone else has anything else they wanna add to this.
Well,
Mr.
Chairman,
Carrier,
They put the bus in here, it's already here, and they've, also, there's another issue we're gonna be addressing soon. But they've still got to below the default. And
oh, no, I understand that, and I agree with you.
And I know what they're going through, I mean, there's a schedule, the buses that have to be rescheduled, cause
Mhm.
some of them got some serious mileage on them, and
Yep.
it's only a matter of time when they're gonna let go.
No, and again, I'm just one voice, that's what I'm talking about, and I hear you. So, and I just need to be upfront and talking about it.
That's fine.
Any other comments? So there's also some additional new equipment that's needed, and that was addressed down here as well, but that's all part of, that was the radio
Radios,
equipment and
right,
everything else that was
basic,
needed,
yeah.
that was addressed. So. All right, if there's no other comments, I will bring it forward for a roll call vote. Starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carrier, aye.
Humphrey Williams, no. Motion passes 5-1 for transportation budget, $650,098.10. All right, next up is special education transportation. It's the department 100.2711. There is a default budget of $55,000 with a proposed budget of $55,000. I'll entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the special ed transportation budget of $55,000.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, so the motion on the floor from Peg Hurd is to approve the budget for special education transportation for $55,000, and it was seconded by Lisa Gautreaux. It's open for discussion. Now, this will come back to what
Okay.
your comment was,
Yeah,
Peg.
and it is in the default because it is special ed mandated, so
Right.
it's the same amount as the default.
And I want to address where you're going with that. The budget is and Bob, you brought this up at the meeting. There was, even though it's a default and it's matched, it went up $40,000 from last year. The explanation of that is we have a special education student that required special equipment, and the only availability to transport that student was from a third party.
Correct.
So that money needs to be there in order to transport that student. So, fully understood
Okay,
as to
good.
why that was there. All right, and I know we had asked the question originally because we thought it was, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna, for everyone at home, we says explain needs to be a warrant, and that was taken out because it was not for new equipment.
Right.
That got confused during the discussion, so
Right.
that is not for new equipment. That is for the third-party transportation.
Right.
All right, any other comments? Hearing none, I will call for a roll call vote, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carrier, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So the motion for special education transportation budget for $55,000 passes 6-0. All right, next budget up is field trip and curriculum budget, 100.2725. We have a default budget of $10,953.90 and a proposed budget of $10,953.90. So it is a match budget. I will bring up, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the field trip slash co-curricula transportation budget of $10,953.90.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, so the motion on the floor from Peg Hurd is to approve the budget for field trip and co-curriculum department for $10,953.90, seconded by Lisa Gautreau. It's open for discussion. Any comments? All right, as you see, there's no change at all from last year's default, as it shows on the screen.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Carrier.
With this going on, are you actually planning, I don't know if they're actually planning to go off anywhere.
Again, this is for
Next year.
next year.
Oh, that's right.
It is, this year, the current answer to that is, we,
I knew
and
it
this
was
is tough, because it's not starting in January, it starts in July, yes,
Okay.
fiscal year.
But if nothing changes,
If nothing changes, then this will not obviously take place next year.
Yeah,
But that's why they also didn't ask for an increase, they just left it at the default,
please.
yeah. Yeah.
Pretty please.
Right now, and at that meeting, I says a field trip is from the kitchen to the living room and back again, and that's sad that has to be that way, but.
Well, you have to go to the bathroom too. So
In the
that's
bathroom break,
unusual.
yeah, well, it's a bathroom break, yeah. All right, any other comments or discussion? All right, then I will call for a roll call vote for the field trip and co-curriculum budget.
Lisa Gautreau, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carrier, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye, so the budget for field trip and co-curriculum of $10,953.90 passes 6-0. Next up is the Technology Services, Department 100.2820. We have a default budget of $93,959.35 and a proposed budget of $164,713.44, increase of $70,754.09. Do I have a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the technology services proposed budget of $164,713.44.
Do I have a second?
Second, Larry Brown.
Seconded by Larry Brown. So we have a motion on the floor from Peg Hurd for technology services budget of $164,713.44, seconded by Larry Brown. It is open for discussion. Bring that up. And on the screen here, it's IT contract services. There was IT, and I got my notes in here about replacement, and it was, is this a planned event for every year? The comment at the time, so anyone understands, is yes, they need to replace, they're looking to replace the IT equipment on a regular basis.
Right.
So,
And any increase in the contracted services per se, trying to increase, so the back bay is, they now do not work during the summer, but just trying to get everything ready for the fall and, you know, new computers coming in, et cetera, et cetera. So looking at an increase to provide service during the summer from them.
okay.
I'm just looking at some of the other things, what was,
Yeah, it was the software and equipment for SAU as well.
Right.
Part of that was server related.
yeah, I'm looking at,
Hold on a second.
okay, oh, alright, 25 replacement computers, yes.
Yes.
And then workers' comp, what, no, never mind, that's the
No,
wrong
it's a
line.
different, that's the next line. Okay. Mr.
Keep
Brown,
Holding here.
hold on a second. Mr. Brown?
I realize we're jumping years, and I know there have been students needing point of service devices and internet access this year.
Mm-hmm.
Does this include the possible and or necessary extension of remote service to students in this line?
No, cause again, it's for next year,
Pardon?
it's for next year when hopefully,
Right, that's
You're gonna be
that was the
back?
question.
But the equipment itself, obviously, would
Right.
be something that would still be utilized both in school or out of school.
right,
So It is flexible in that sense and could be allocated to students who
Yeah.
might need it at a remote site and could be purchased during the next school year for that purpose, if need be.
Right, and plus, you know, like the labs and the carts, the roll-around carts that go from classroom to classroom, replacing those computers too.
Yeah, and I will attest, having been at our last meeting, because I had to use one of the computers from the school. It is antiquated. That one that I was using did not even have, as a matter of fact, the equipment in the cafeteria was antiquated because we couldn't hook up my computer, which is almost 2 years old, could not be hooked up to the equipment because it has not been brought up to date.
Yep.
So, technology being what it is, this is going to be an ongoing thing anywhere. So.
And there is a replacement cycle.
Mhm. And that's,
but
well,
it's
that's the
like
intent
quite-
behind this,
yeah.
right? So, and I'm gonna come back to Mr. Carrier's comment earlier, and again, and I'm gonna say this up front. I said this at our meeting. I am extremely pleased that the overall budget comes in under the default. Knowing that, they work the budget to turn around and try to fit the technology needs in while still maintaining the budget under the default, so that's a plus. All right, any other comments? All right, not hearing any, I will call for a roll call vote for technology services, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Heard, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carrier, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So the budget for technology service of $164,713.44 passes 6-0. Next up is support services. Department 100.2900. It has a default budget of $61,041 and a proposed budget of $61,041 for a level budget. It is a reduction from last year, as it shows here on the screen, of over $6,000. Do I have a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the support services budget of $61,000.41.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, so motion on the floor from Peg Heard to approve the budget for support services for $61,041, seconded by Lisa Gattro. It is open for discussion. Do I have any comments? This was, you actually started to talk to this one or two line items early. You want to address it, Peg?
Yeah, first of all, there's nothing we can do about that one.
No, it's.
But the second thing is that we have actually had a reduction in workers' comp and unemployment because they base it on our claims, so.
That's good. Now, the fact that we've had fewer claims is a plus. So yes, because the budget last year, I mean, this reduction is from the two workman's comp areas more than anything, and everything else is the same.
And, yeah, and the wellness incentive, that is something through school care, the insurance, health insurance,
Mhm.
and they actually pay the money to the employees who partake in the wellness program, but we have to pay the FICA.
You have to, yeah.
So, I know.
Well, no,
The
benefits,
employ-
well, it's a matching benefit is what it comes down to.
Right, and the
Employers
employees
have to pay that.
their share of the FICA, and then
Yep.
we have to pay
Yep.
the other half.
Nope.
So,
That makes sense.
just in case anybody wants to know what the wellness program is.
Any other comments? All right, call for a roll call vote.
Lisa Gattro, aye.
Peg Heard, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carrier, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So the motion of budget for support services for $61,041.41 passes 6-0. Next up, sale of bonds and notes. I'm just going to address the fact here that it's paid off. So there is nothing for us to even have to think about on this one. But that is a plus because it is a reduction of $271,440 by the fact that the bonds and notes have been paid off. That is good. Next up is the Department for Transfer of food services, 100.5221. This has a default budget, I wish that thing would stop doing that, of $40,858, and it has a proposed budget of $44,474 for an increase of $3,616. Do I have a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the transfer to food service proposed budget of $44,474.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. So I have a motion on the floor from Peg Hurd for transfer to food services for $44,474, seconded by Lisa Gautreau. It is open for discussion. Mr. Brown?
Discussion, memory just jumped out at me, back when Michael Tercey was, superintendent, I remember a figure of $39,000 and change, which was the transfer cost into the food service program. So this is, remarkable, hammering away and, leveling of the cost of food service programs.
It's true, and I think I paid that much for groceries last week at Hannaford's.
You should try market basket.
Yeah. It's nothing against Hannaford's, that was a joke. But yes, I want to make sure everyone understands that was a joke. The leveling of the transfer to food services is a big, big plus, and it's been a slight fluctuation from year to year. Any other comments or discussion? All right. While we're touching on the food service, and I know we've got another couple sections, I also want to address the fact that the school has done a remarkable job with students at home that continue to need food. All of this fits into that program. Same thing with transportation and all of that. So, yes,
You know,
Peg.
May I just make one comment? I ran into a food service cafeteria worker from another district and asked, what was going on, because they are totally remote right now.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, it is so frustrating because we fix so many meals. The people who are supposed to pick up the meals and take them to the buses to be transported don't always come down to get all the meals. Parents don't bother to pick up the meals at the bus stops.
Yep.
And she said it's amazing at the end of the day, and I mean, this is not an affluent, Dartmouth,
Mm-hmm.
where, she's so frustrated because she said, then I have to take all this food out. What can I reuse?
And what do
Okay,
we lose?
throw it away. And our district has done an absolutely tremendous job between the paras and the drivers and the parents. If I happen to be out and about when the buses are driving around, I will see parents with their kids out at the end of the driveways or out at the bus stop waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow.
No, it's a good thing. I know I've been behind the bus for those stops.
Yeah, yeah. So, we really have done an excellent job, I have
Nope.
to say.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
just kudos.
Did I call for the roll call vote on that one, Amy?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. I wanted to make sure, because I know we were talking, that's why I've got you here. All right, so I'm gonna call for a roll call vote for transfer to food services, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gautreau, aye.
Peg Hurd, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Budding Burnham, aye.
Mark Carey, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye, so motion passes for transfer to food service for $44,474 and 0 cents, 6-0. All right, next up is the transfer for grant expenditures. The Department 100.5222, we have a default budget of $355,618 and a proposed budget of $331,472 for a reduction of $24,146 from the default. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the transfer for grant expenditures of proposed budget of $331,472.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, so the motion on the floor from Peg Hurd for transfer for grant expenditures of $331,472, seconded by Lisa Gautreau. It is open for discussion. bring it up here. This is the bond, principal, and interest. This is the transfer for grant expenditures. There's actually the approved last year too. I just wanted to discuss the fact that the approved budget from 21 is the same as the default budget this year. So this reduction, you wanna talk to Peg on the grants?
Yeah, we obviously will not probably be getting or looking to get as much
Grant money next year.
in grants. However, so much of this is, we think we're getting, but at this point, we don't really know exactly what we're getting. But whatever we get goes into the operating budget so that we can actually spend the money.
Right.
So, but we have a totally separate branch report that breaks everything down.
Mm-hmm. No, I know, we see it on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's nothing here that we can touch. This is straightforward, so I just wanted to show it up on the screen, that's all it is. Any other comments? All right, then I will call for Mr. Carrier. Yep, go ahead, Bob.
Okay, Peg, there was
Yes.
two on a public hearing that you had before this other one. There was one about math and, intervention or something, whatever it is, with, I don't remember. I saw it, but, I couldn't make the public hearing on that. It's a grant for, I think, an MES. It's something to do with math. I can't bring it up either.
No, don't know.
I don't, Doug, does that ring a bell?
You didn't hold
I
on
mean, I
to
know
it.
we just had, prior to this last meeting, we had the public meeting to
$400,000.
accept some more, it wasn't CARES money, but whatever that,
They could
I
go
was
for,
gonna say
it's the
FFF.
well, no, it's a
Yeah.
CARE Act, the
Yeah.
Gopher Fund, they call it, yeah.
is that what it was?
But there was one before that, at the same time, there was one with it, you know,
Well, there were two grants
Yeah. and.
that came through in two different amounts.
Oh, something about language arts intervention.
I
I don't remember the amount, but.
you know what? You're right, but that was earlier, wasn't it?
It was before the one you just had. They were both together for the,
Because I know that we got some sort of a language arts,
okay, that's the one.
grant that they've implemented at the elementary level for reading and, bringing people into,
So-
but that was a while ago, wasn't it, Doug?
It was not recent.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been following it, but I have not been able to get it. Is
Yeah.
it part of, is it gonna be in here? Is that for next year, that grant?
I think that was just a one-year grant.
It was.
Okay, so this would be, these are more, like Title I,
Okay.
Title II, IDEA or special ed. I think we might still have something coming from DHHS, but I mean, there are about 4 or 5 grants that, are standards that we get, but that was kind of a one-time special.
Yeah, but you had to have a public hearing so you could,
Right, so that we could accept it because it was not
okay.
an every year occurrence, so. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look because it was a while ago. I know that they've been
I didn't keep
doing the
track of it.
program this fall.
Okay. It just seems like the grants are going down. I think a while back it was said we're not gonna continue to get the funding we used to get, it's gonna start dropping.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah,
it might
well,
even
there's no doubt,
start-
because
yep.
grant money is being reduced, money coming back from the federal government, coming back from the states being
Yep.
reduced.
Oh, yeah.
And I know we're gonna be coming up here in a few moments, and that's why I just put in some notes up on the screen to make sure we talk to the revenues, vice the,
Yeah.
the final, what we're looking at for a total. All right, any other, comments on the transfer of grant expenditures? All right, I'll call for a roll call vote, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Guttrow, aye.
Eckert, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, aye.
Bob Carey, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So the motion for transfer of grant expenditures for a budget of $331,472 passes 6-0. Last up on the floor here is food services, Department 200.31. This is the total for food services aspect. We have a default budget of $289,548.83 and a proposed budget of $285,000. $895.36 for a reduction of $3,653.47. Do I have a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the food service proposed budget of $285,895.36.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, it is open for discussion. I'm just gonna bring up so everyone sees that all this is a straightforward contract services and repairs and maintenance. Now, the proposed budget, there was an increase for repair and maintenance dealing with food services, but the overall contract services have been reduced, so that's where the reduction of $3,653.47 comes from. Any other comments? Peg, do you have anything?
No, but if you look at that, it's
Pretty stable.
it's stable, and that is what, $38, $20 between the increase in the transfer for
Yeah.
our expenses, so.
Yep.
The 5221 line.
Yep.
So,
It's very, very, yeah, the 5221 matches up with the
yeah.
other piece of it, right. Now, again, you bring the two together, it does
Yeah.
match. All right, any other comments? All right, and again, I know I'm gonna call for the roll call vote here, but kudos to food services here in town for the school system and all they're doing for the students that are at home and remote learning and everything else at this point in time. That is a huge plus. They deserve a lot of credit for that. All right, I'm gonna call for a roll call vote, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gastro, aye.
Peg Bird, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Whiting Burnham, aye.
Bob Carey, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. The motion for food service budget of $285,895.36 passes 6-0. We have a grand total bottom line budget, the default being $11,234,752.13, with a proposed bottom line budget of $11,211,713.64. Before I call for a motion, I want to explain to the public watching this, there is a revenue that totals up with all kinds of money from the kindergarten aid to transportation, food sales, fresh fruit and vegetables, special education, miscellaneous funds. We've got nutrition, state and federal, Medicaid, federal grant reimbursement, state education tax, and adequacy tax. There's all kinds of grant money that goes into it that ends up reducing the tax burden from the $11,211,713.64 to $6,790,009.64. So anyways, what I'm looking for is a motion on the grand total proposed budget.
I will make a motion to approve the grand total proposed budget for the school district of $11,211,713.64.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Brown beat you to that one. So we have a motion on the floor from Peg Hurd for the grand total bottom line budget proposed for fiscal year 22 for $11,211,713.64, seconded by Mr. Larry Brown. Open for discussion. Do we have any?
Chairman,
Mr. Carrier.
You should tell them what the actual default, how low will hold the default number.
Yes, I'll address that right now. Yep. There is an overall reduction below the default budget, as Mr. Carrier asked, of $23,038.49. So again, the default budget on the warrant article is above what is the proposed budget. So this will be lower than the default, which is a plus, huge plus. Any other comments? All right, hearing none, I will call for a roll call vote, starting with Lisa.
Lisa Gastro, aye.
Peg Bird, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Whiting Burnham, aye.
Bob Carey, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. The bottom line budget for the school for fiscal year 22 of $11,211,713.64 passes. And I thank the school board and the school district for bringing it in under the default budget. Very much, a lot of hard work in there. Thank you.
I got a question for you.
Mr. Shute,
Your vote's gonna have to be no because you turned down the school bus.
it's still passed.
No, you said aye. You should, your
I-
vote should have been off by what, $49,000?
No, I can still vote, it's a separate it's a separate vote, I can vote for that.
So the only one you're gonna show that the people.
Only thing I'm gonna show, if anyone asks me, was the reason for that, but it's still passed. And I am approving the bottom line budget and with my vote. Yep.
Well, I mean, to
I
me,
know what you're asking, but again, it's a separate vote.
The voters are not gonna see your 5-1 vote.
They will see the 5-1 vote at the deliberative session.
Oh.
No,
Actually, it's-
And they will see it in our minutes.
No, technically, you vote only on the bottom line.
And I'm approving the bottom line, so,
We,
Yep.
all the rest of these, we can, once you give me that bottom line, I can, once you approve this bottom line, I can change every one of these lines, but when.
I hear you. I hear you. But again, this vote here that we see that goes into our minutes, I disagreed with that and I didn't agree with it. But the bottom line, I agree. I do agree with the overall bottom line.
You may see that in a minute, that you're not supposed to do that.
I don't have to vote no against this on a separate line item, to the best of my knowledge, Doug.
But it will show up as the bottom line, 6 yes, 0 no. So,
Yes.
and that's what goes on the warrant article.
Yep. But, and again, here's my point. Larry, go ahead.
To fracture the image, let us not have the feathers fall out of the bird song at this point.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree with you. And I hear what you're trying to say, Doug. My point, I made a point in regards to the bus only. Not the budget itself, the bus.
I want you to know, I would like you to give me a solution to that problem because I'm frustrated.
By the way,
Back to the plow truck.
I completely hear
Every
you.
year I go to that plow truck and ask the people to approve and they don't.
No, here's my point. I completely concur with you in the fact that we need a solution to figure out how to get the equipment needed.
We don't get that bus, you know how you're gonna be delivering your meals? Bus and buggy.
Right? And again, all I can do is give you my opinion on that. I don't have an answer to that. I wish I
know
did.
I'd like you, if you have a solution, I wanna know what the solution is, cause I need help.
Mr. I hear you. Mr. Brown?
On a completely related, non-related topic.
Yes.
The Budget Committee, which has the honor of being the CIP committee, is desperately trying to put in their own warrant article to relieve themselves of that honor.
Oh, the planning board, not the budget committee.
No,
Right.
the planning board is the CIP committee.
Correct. And I know that what you said the budget committee is putting in for the warrant article.
Oh,
It is the Board of Selectmen that have asked to see if we're gonna have and we're gonna be addressing that in the warrant articles, but looking to see if we will have a separate committee on the capital improvement program. I agree with you. That is something that is, because it's not an easy program all in all. Alright? In all honesty, Doug, I'm gonna tell you, I had 36 years in federal government myself and struggled with how do you come up with big term items and things like that and how to pass it. I wish I had an easy answer. All I can tell you is persistence and trying to turn around and do that and to try to sell that as part of the program is the best we can do. But what you just said is true. If we do not get a new bus, to me, it's the same thing. If we don't get highway equipment, and I know that this is, and I don't want to roll into this too much because we did have the vote, but if we don't have the highway equipment, or we don't have the police cruisers, or we don't have the fire trucks or the equipment that's needed, then things grind to a halt. So.
Even for the school.
No,
Not all of this stuff.
because I'm addressing the
Goes right
fact
up to
that you've
school.
got you have the same issue. The town is not responsible for plowing the school. That is the school's responsibility. That's where the plow truck issue came from. And I understand, and then the school has to transport students. Completely concur. I wish I had a great answer. I don't have an answer in regards to why last year people wanted the roads not, if didn't want to approve a road budget warrant article and then complain that the roads weren't fixed. So,
I agree with you.
so again, and all I want to, and I want to make very clear, I simply was making a vote in regards to a bus on that particular item. I do not have a problem with the bottom line budget itself. I don't, and that's why I voted yes. And I know you'll see a 6-0 vote. If somebody asks me off the minutes, I don't have a problem explaining that I think it needs to be resolved, you
I
know?
don't know how to do it.
But I don't know how to do it. I don't.
I don't
You
either.
weren't disagreeing with the fact of the
Of the
bus
bus, I'm not
involved.
disagreeing with the
were
fact you need a
disagreeing
bus.
with
I'm
where it
disagreeing on
is.
where it was.
Yeah.
I don't know how, other than.
I don't-
I don't know of any other place other than where I've got it right about in order to get
I
it
don't,
passed.
don't disagree, and that's why it passed.
And yeah, that's why he went with the bottom line. He was
Yeah,
making more
that's
of
why it passed.
the statement that he doesn't agree with
Yeah.
it being there.
Nope. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else on the school budget itself? All right, then I will put this together with our approved information. I know it's gonna come up with the minutes. I'm gonna put that aside, save this, and I will come back to where we were on the next part of the agenda for tonight. And the agenda for tonight brings us to, town expenditure report. I am going to table the town expenditure report for tonight because of where we're at. I do wanna know, I wanted to know if you had anything to report on the school one, because you told me, you would ask me, and if you do, I will bring the summary up on that one. I shouldn't say I'm gonna table it. I'm gonna bring up one thing in dealing with the school, the town expenditure. We don't have answers for any of it. I was just gonna bring it up and
Okay.
display it, and then I'm gonna come back to you for answers. On the school one, no, on the school one. So I wanna make that clear on where we're at. Town expenditures. All I wanna do is address that we're at 91.67% of the year. Obviously, we're wrapping up at the end of November. We wrap up at the end of December, and we've only spent 79.21% of the budget this year. That is also one of the reasons why the Board of Selectmen, with the administrator and everything else, went forward to figure out how to come back with a tax reduction this year, okay? We're doing well expenditures. The only place on this, and I'm bringing this up because I still wanna post this, but I'm gonna be working with, the town here to try to figure out how I post the expenditures, cause I don't want it to be just a one thing. I wanna see the continuing thing month to month. Haven't figured out how to do that yet. We did get the budget proposals, which I'm gonna put up on the webpage. Most of what you'll find in here that are over in this summary sheet, which fits on about an 8.5 by 14, Larry, I'm sorry, but I tried to, I could get it on, and actually you do have it on an 8.5 by 11 on two sides there. I just made it so you could read it. I broke it down by all the categories here. Salaries are the biggest thing that are over in some of the areas here, and that is the fact that we addressed this already, that some of the employees received pay raises while we were under default. So they are over the 91%. But the overall bottom line budget, as it's showing right now, and this is just a guess because there's still contracts and things that need to be paid. We have a net budget, and this was asked, and Mr. Carey, I know you asked me and then you answered your question. When we look at the net budget, this is not what the default budget was. That includes the encumbrances and warrant articles, okay? So the net budget of $4,940,083 does include those encumbrances and warrant articles. And when you subtract them out, shows the default budget of just over 4.5 million. The projected expenditures right now based on that is just under 4.3 million. So it's coming under budget this year. I don't know what the bottom line will be yet because there's still contracts to get paid out that kind of change that, but we won't know that until we get the January breakdown. Okay? With that shown, I'm gonna bring the school budget up, the summary page. That's how you wanted to address it, Peg, that's how I wanted to address it,
Yeah,
and
no,
that's
that
how
was it was awesome. Larry,
I tried to get it,
one page.
I tried to get it down so that this would
8.5
show.
by 11.
I want Mr. Brown to know I do listen to him.
So
straight out of Tolkien, one page to rule them all.
Yes. So, up here on the screen now, we do have the school expenditures through November. I added I modified this a little, and I want to address the fact that in the past, of course, this is why I needed Nate to tell me when he added line items, because if he adds new line items, the program doesn't recognize those that
I know,
I'm
but
doing
this
it.
is awesome.
Yeah, but it's working now so that we can see where we're at, yeah.
Alright, so
Go ahead, Peg.
the first thing that you highlighted up there, which, that was why I said, oh my gosh, I love it. Special ed,
Yep.
and just looking through, we certainly had an increase in contracted services at the high school. And that can be anywhere where increased occupational therapy, physical therapy, teacher of the deaf. But if we have special ed students that require it in their IEP, we have no choice.
Yep.
And then, of course, we have huge increases in the tuition, non-public. MES is over by $90,402.
And again, this is still under the special education.
Yep,
Yes.
and oh yeah, I will do each one and I'll
Yep.
talk about. And then middle and high school, middle is over $253,494, and high school is over $153,424. And that was, we had students come in who require outplacement, and one of them definitely needs that contracted services for the transportation, which I will talk about down there.
Right,
But
okay.
it's just, there's nothing we can do. We have to provide for them, so. Anyway, that was special ed, and with all of those and the decreases elsewhere, being over budget of 8,000 is not bad with the numbers that I just gave you.
Current projection.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Okay, the next one, vocational programs. Again, we had more students going to voc ed programs in other schools, so that was an increase.
Before you go
Oh.
too far, Peg, I want to make sure, because the public, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I believe the team does.
All right, I'm
I
sorry.
just want the public, I want the public to understand, when they look and see a sum of the budget of 2.962 million, right?
Right,
How are we only 8,000? They got to understand that there is it's a combination of what's been spent and what's left. When you're looking at it's these two totals. Some of the year to date and the sum of the balance is where we end up slightly over the nine. I mean, those two things balance out. They balance out to the sum of the budget, but when you look at the encumbrance and expenditures to
okay.
date, there's the $8,000. I just wanted to be understood that the
Okay.
differences between those two numbers. Not you, it's for the public to know.
alright, yeah, cause I was gonna say, I understand it.
Yeah. Oh, no, I understand it too. It's the encumbrance is more than what the
Right.
balance is.
Right.
Is why there's a negative balance there.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright, so vocational, it is just, it's 6,000, and we have a deficit or overspending of almost 9,000 for tuition, so there've been savings elsewhere.
Okay.
And then improvement of instruction, you just had that we should only be at 41.67%.
But we're at 43.9,
Yeah.
yeah, because I had to turn around and just highlight both parts of it.
Yeah.
And that's just a slight change, and that's okay.
Right, and we are,
There's contracts involved with that too, as to when they get paid.
yeah, and we are under budget on that one,
Correct.
so.
Yep.
Okay, the next one, school board, and these are all things that I have actually talked about before. School board, we have the
I can bring them up.
moderator, we are over spent by
Well, we ended up having the extra election
50,
aspect
yep,
of things.
$5,500. We had extra money for the moderator for the additional vote on the CBA, the secretary, and legal services, because we did have that extra contract. So that's the
School board, yeah.
school board. There are not any questions there. SAU expense, biggies there, the two increases that are not reflected, the superintendent
The
and the
salaries, yep.
business, and then all the related expenses that go along with that.
Transportation, special ed.
Okay, special ed transportation was primarily, and this really helped me because I go through this every month and
This should help you trigger where to look, yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can see where I've got some stuff highlighted here.
Mm-hmm.
Contracted services again.
Yeah.
And that's the special.
The special
equipment-
transportation
yeah,
equipment for,
special,
yep.
Totally special transportation.
Yep.
Technology services, that was more support needed this year, Zoom sessions.
Oh, there was some computer
computers.
changes and everything else too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
it was just, it's been a crazy year as far as technology has been concerned.
Mhm.
You know, buying new computers for the students so that when we're totally remote,
Yep.
they needed to be configured, and then when they come back from the students, they needed to be and then
Mhm. Oh, no, I understand that.
So, yeah, little crazy year.
The bonds and notes, that's
Yeah,
just because it
that's-
comes out to 100, but that's paid off now, and that's
Yeah.
an annual thing, so.
Support services.
Yeah, that was slightly over on the
And I think
expended at this
probably-
point, but I think that's also the same type of thing, it's more of the contract piece of it.
Right, and stuff has been paid because
Yep.
that is.
Everything's under budget still, so. it's a
Again,
matter-
the workers' comp and unemployment and
Yep.
the wellness.
And then the
okay.
transfer of food services is just a,
Yeah, what we owe, which
Yep.
is over.
Yep.
So,
no, appreciate
anyway, I don't
that.
know if you had any other questions, but.
The only thing that I'm gonna ask is for something in the long run, the only thing I haven't seen back, and if you could ask Nate, you know, what has, I'm not saying it's gonna offset this here, but I know that, just like the town got the Gopher funds, you know, or the CARES Act piece of things, what's the school gotten in relationship to the added expenses? Because it's not part of what we normally see, and it kind of falls in line with Larry asking about the sanitary sewer money coming back. You know, it's like, what else has come in revenue-wise that I haven't seen? I don't remember, I'm not saying it's not there, I just don't
No,
remember
I'm
seeing
just
it.
looking and wondering. I can ask because it certainly should show up in the.
It should show up under as part of the revenues piece, and I don't remember if it was. I'm just asking because I don't remember seeing it.
Because I'm seeing the.
It's just something, if we
HHS.
just highlight it to make sure it's known that that's, because there's gonna be more coming,
Yay.
obviously.
Oh, okay, wait a minute, CARES grant,
He does have it, okay.
127,000 was budgeted.
That's not gonna show in your operating budget.
No, I'm just
No, it
curious
shows
as to
up-
how it offsets it, that's all.
Right.
I agree with you, Doug, that's why I says it's not part of this, but it's just for
But it
people to
isn't gonna be an
understand.
offset because you're earmarked to spend that money only for certain items.
Correct, but as your technology needs went up this year, due to trying to cover some of the remote learning, any of those changes, that's part of what that funding's supposed to do.
Jen Levitt would be the one to ask
Yeah,
that question
yeah,
to.
Yeah.
she has done an excellent job. For a lot of what we've spent, the CARES Act will not show up because it was for PPE, for cleaning.
Oh, yeah, no, for cleaning, for all that.
Stuff. The technology, it was actually purchasing of computers, so
Right.
it was not used for Back Bay. It was used.
Oh, no, I understand it's not used
Okay.
for Back Bay, but it's used for the students to remote learn and things like that. It's just something that, as we present a budget, and I know it doesn't show up under the budget line item, but those are the types of questions that have been asked by other people too.
Okay.
Where did some of that come from? You know, if we've had increases in needs for computers, aren't they being offset somehow? That's just being prepped for those types of questions.
Okay, alright, yep, because I'm looking at the second page too.
Yep.
And we've got the federal grants,
Right.
See, we're still waiting for the 412 Chromebooks. We
Yeah.
still haven't got them, that was paid for under grant money.
Yeah. Well,
Still
it-
hasn't come.
yeah, and that makes it, so
yeah.
now you've got other expenses, try to offset how to handle that. So,
I'm not
what does
sure yet.
CSI stand for?
what does what?
We have revenue CSI FY 20.
I don't know. I know what CSI stands for on the TV show.
Yeah, I know, I was gonna say.
But,
Should be an N in front of it, NCSI.
yeah,
NCIS.
Yeah.
There you go.
yeah,
But there are some, there is in here revenue from the CARES Act of 127.6.
well, I understand there's gonna be the revenue in there, it was just how that, and that's not for
Okay.
tonight's meeting, that was just, I
Alright,
thank
no,
you for that,
that's-
so, Larry, did we meet your 8.5 by 11?
It is a terrible thing to be greedy. What Peg just said, there are expenses coming in to cover personal protective equipment, cleaning supplies and such.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have something in one paragraph that said, over the first 6 months of the current school year, $10,000 has come in from the CARES Act and has gone to cover the cost of such and such expenses to the benefit of the school district.
That's kinda where I was headed, yes. Because it's gonna, the question's inevitably gonna come up somehow, how did that come about? It's the same thing with where it's being broadcast in town, there's the breakdown on what's been needed. So, that's all, that was the only reason I'm bringing it up too. All right, anything else? Peg?
Did you, just a
Good.
phone thing.
Nope,
Did
that's
you
fine.
look at your grant report?
I
Because-
spent so much time trying to get
I
these
know.
other things this last,
Anyway,
I didn't
that-
get there, that's why I brought it up.
That does show the breakdown of
Yeah.
grants that we've had come in, and the CARES Act of 127,000. There is a breakdown.
Okay.
Cleaning supplies. So, yeah,
All right, and again, I hadn't gotten to it, is why I brought it up.
okay.
Usually I go through each and every one, but trying to get the rest of the reports done, I
Oh,
didn't
I
get
know.
there this time. All right, that's it on this, I'm going to just save that. Thank you very much.
You are
Back
welcome.
to minutes. I will bring those up.
And these are all the corrected ones, right?
They are the corrected ones, yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna actually bring up what we had, from the update. I do want, I made some minor adjustments to this. Thank you very much with all of this, Amy. I know that she's seen some additional corrections. There were a couple of times there, I put some corrections out and sent them back to Amy, because when I go to post them, I don't want the red, and then we get the additional comments, but, this one here, with the additional comments out here were Peg's comments up here on the screen. Mike Bullion was excused from that meeting on the 12th. There was some minor things in here, the letter A, have, a new maintenance line item or a future meeting. And the biggest thing in here, and that's why you actually see Peg had put the first motion carried. When we're doing the motions, we normally would put in, especially on the roll, on these types of votes for the budget, what it was. So it was 7 pass, no one against, and the 0 at the end was no one abstaining.
Right.
So those types of things you'll see, and that's gonna go back out so you can see that, Amy. I will entertain a motion though, because like I said, we made changes that you asked for. Supervisor, yeah, this one is supervisor of the checklist, not checklist of the supervisor. That would, but I actually kind of liked it afterwards, because if we had that other checklist out there, sometimes it would make things easier.
Sorry, and I'm obnoxious, I'm sorry.
All right. All in all, it was all basically the motions carried part, so I will entertain a motion on the minutes.
Motion to accept the minutes of November 12th, with the corrections noted and with addition of any scribal corrections necessary.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, so the motion on the floor from Larry Brown is to accept the minutes as edited with any scribal adjustments. And seconded by Lisa Gautreau. Any
That's scribal, not scribble.
scribal, I said scribal too. Do I have any other comments? All right, roll call vote.
Lisa Gautreau, aye.
Peg Heard, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, I.
Bob Carey, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye. So the minutes are accepted with the adjustments, so I will get those out. All right, next one up
Larry,
is from December 3rd.
I'm sorry, as soon as he did say
Scribble.
scribble, immediately went scribble.
No, I knew, that's why I made sure I said scribble. I knew where he was going with that,
No,
so,
I did too, but it's,
yeah.
oh.
All right, this one, there is some, I made the changes because it wasn't really public, it was all part of the meeting itself, that's so. And I know you didn't know all the names either, so I made sure, you did very well. I did have one question, I didn't think Jen was in the meeting, I know Jen
Yeah.
Levitt is there, so she must have been on her phone and not
A Zoom,
on,
I think.
I
yeah.
didn't see her on Zoom, is why I asked, so, okay.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
she does the technical and,
no, I know what she does, and I know who she is as far as the assistant principal. I didn't know she was there. So the editorial changes that you see up here were mine and Peg's. So we made the change. Danielle was excused that day. The school board members and the SAU representatives, I made those adjustments. We fixed just a few other things. I wanted to make sure that we added the fact that that Doug had to open up the school board and close the school board too. That's not normally a part of our meetings, but for those types of meetings, we include them in our minutes. The rest of it is editorial in nature. So, come back down here. And I did want to explain this one too. And this was, Peg and I went back. We talked about this tonight when it had to do with the increase that you had asked about, Bob, on the default for the special transportation. Thought that, because we originally had that in there, it was not for the purchase of equipment, it was for the special, it was for the third party, so that was addressed to make sure of that, okay? And that's why I put it in there. Mr. Carey asked why there was a $40,000 increase. Mr. Castle stated it was for the cost of third-party transportation van that has the required special equipment that the new special aid student needs, okay? That was the big change on that one, so. And then the fact that the school board adjourned just ahead of us. I will entertain a motion on the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the, December 3rd minutes with the corrections as noted
I will look for a second.
and scribed what?
No, I'm not going there.
I'll second.
All right, seconded by Lisa. So the motion on the floor from Peg Heard is to approve the minutes for December 3rd meeting with the editorial adjustments. Seconded by Lisa Gautreau. Any other discussion besides scribal comments? All right, hearing none, I'll call for a roll call vote.
Lisa Gautreau, aye.
Peg Heard, aye.
Larry Brown, aye.
Claudine Burnham, I.
Bob Carey, aye.
And Humphrey Williams, aye, so the minutes are approved, and I will get those adjusted and back out and posted. Okay? Last thing I want to address here, just before, as far as other business, I want to bring that up, is Mr. Krevling did send out, and I know we got the warrant articles came out, I haven't had a chance to go through them, I looked at them briefly from the school, Nate got those out. They're not ready yet anyways, I mean, this is just the initial thing, we're early, I wanted to see them early so everyone gets a chance to review them. I wanted to address the ones for the town, because I've been trying to get to those, and I know there's more coming from the planning board. Where the heck did they go? I actually, damn it. Oh, there it is, warrant article language. No, that's yours, that's the schools. I went through and made a quick change, I'll come back up here, I can probably find it easier. File open. I wanted to address briefly where that was at, right here.
Right, yeah.
Okay, as Ernie put it, he was, you know, we gotta turn around and put what the tax burden and all that other stuff is before we go and vote on it. But I wanted you to know, I'm going to send this back out. And Doug, you and I talked about this a little while ago. It used to be a quarter per 100,000. It's now roughly 20 cents per $100,000. But I don't know what it's going to be with the latest change, okay? But it's still roughly 20 cents per $100,000 right now that I put this in here, okay? So this isn't etched in stone, but I'm gonna just lightly touch on where we're at here so that you guys understand. The first one being the $300,000 for the highway and road construction. I kinda mentioned that one earlier, it didn't pass last year. The $300,000 at 20 cents per 100,000 would be a 60 cent per $1,000 tax burden, okay? And like I said, I believe it's gonna drop a little bit more, just like it did last year, okay? The next one up is the Bridge Capital Reserve Fund, and this is not the bridge over here on Townhouse Road. So this is the other bridges in town, and it is in here listed, which is good, like Winding Bridge Road and all that, okay? So the $25,000 in that particular case would be roughly 5 cents per thousand, okay? On evaluation. And I don't even know if this thing came out right. I had to convert the PDF file with the online thing, so.
Oh, but there shouldn't be any if it's coming from the fund balance. So there's no.
No, I know, I'm just letting everyone know, well, the thing is that's the impact, but if it comes out of a fund balance, it'll zero out. I'm just
Right.
letting
Or it doesn't
this,
get used.
I'm not posting this for anyone, I'm mentioning it in front of everyone publicly, because this isn't final. I just wanted you guys to know, I'm gonna send this back out so you have an understanding of where it's coming from, okay? So the municipal buildings capital reserve fund being the $50,000, that would be roughly 10 cents, okay? Boat ramp, and by the way, to address your comment too, Peg, because people in the past have said, well, it does cost us. Even if it comes out of the fund balance, it is still a cost, because that's
Right.
what could have gone back. So
But it's not
it may
that
not hit you
initial,
now,
yeah.
but it's what the cost is against the taxes, okay? Because that could have been revenue back, basically. Boat ramp repair, the $5,000 for the boat ramp repair at the beach, that would be roughly a penny per thousand. The Milton Free Public Library Capital Reserve Fund would be $20,000, and that in and of itself would be about a 4 cent change. The technology upgrade, $1,500 would be a 0.3 cent increase, okay? And the graphical information, the GIS system that they've been working on, that's been an ongoing thing here through 2026. That'd be a half a penny per thousand. This one, I'm still not 100% sure of, Claudine, and what the reduction was, okay? I'm just taking this to you guys. This was the $5,000 for the invasive plant species. It was 10,000 through the end of this year, and it was approved by the town last year. So when you guys go back to talk, I had made that comment a while back. I know I'm on the TPPA, and Steve Baker had asked me about this. I do know that the funding is approved through the end of next year for $10,000. So that needs to be clarified with the public, that if you're doing this, you're talking about 2022. Yes.
Because I was gonna say, when I did look through these, that did not seem like the right amount.
No, it was 10,000 up through the end of next year.
Right,
And this one is saying 5,000
yeah.
and out through 2022. And I know the eradication from bodies of water, that was mine when we had the board last year, because of both comments. Because it wasn't just money for 3 ponds, it was money, TPPA gets money to help with the 3 ponds. But this year, and I'm gonna just make this, and this isn't to promote TPPA, but they did take care of downstream below the dam. Because I know I was one that helped try to push that and say, hey, we've got it's not the milfoil, I wanna make that clear. It's the European Naiad that they went and took care of. And the reason they can't take care of the milfoil with that is the milfoil's been there too long for federal grant money to come back and take care of it now, okay? So the TPPA uses money from the town of Milton, the town of Lebanon, and our members split 3 ways, and we go after grant money from Maine and New Hampshire to offset cost, and this, because there's a heck of a lot more than this goes into it, so. So anyways, that would be roughly a penny if it's 5,000, but it was 10 this past year that everyone voted for. After this, this was, Larry brought this up about the establishment of an independent capital improvement program committee. It's not that's why I wanted to make sure that was clear, it's not a budget committee thing. It will come to us, if they do have a committee, any proposals will come to us to look at, but that's not one for us to vote on. Milton Townhouse Special Revenue Fund is another one out there. Right now, there's nothing in here financially for me to address.
That's just the money that they make.
Right. There's the amendment of a tax cap, trying to go match up with the consumer price index. I do actually have the tax cap presentation I'm going to send you guys from Ernie. He did send it to me a couple weeks ago. I was going to bring it up. I think I'm just going to send it out to you. It's under the 2% anyways.
Okay, but there gonna be more explanation why?
I hope so. This is just the initial phase, so
Okay,
yes.
yeah,
I
why
would-
the change
Yeah.
in,
And it would have to be
Dates?
explained anyways, even if it's explained out in the booklet that we end up getting and at
right,
the meeting,
right.
so. And there's currently a petition warrant article out there about paving of Bolin Road to see if the town will raise and appropriate the sum of $140,000 per year over a period of 4 years to redo the 1.3 miles. Those that have been on this panel, that Pat has mentioned, how expensive it is to do a very short distance of road. That 1 mile is about $1 million worth of work that has to be done between digging everything out, bringing in fill, the right kind of fill, and doing everything. So this particular thing would be towards a bond, obviously, of some sort. The only other thing I didn't bring up in here, because I just was addressing the money based on that. The warrant article for the retention plan is Article 3 in here, and Article 2 obviously being the operating budget itself. This one here, to me, we've talked about it, I couldn't promote this enough, in my opinion, to try to have a plan in place to make it easier for the public to know what not only today's costs are gonna be, what future costs in dealing with employees. So I'm gonna send that back out to you with those numbers in there. Yes, Peg?
Okay. Come on, I'm old. I had the thought, you kept talking.
I'm not going there, I'm not a kid either, so I'm also far
One
from
of the
it.
things that kind of surprised me, and Claudine, for you too, there has been talk because of the added expenses of the transfer station. All
The
of
solid
the-
waste station and
Yeah, all of the, tipping fees
Mm-hmm.
of actually raising the amount of money per year to go to the transfer station. So,
That hasn't hit this yet, that's why this isn't,
Okay.
all
I
of
was
them.
just surprised not to see that, because I gotta tell ya, I've been talking to people from other towns, it's $5 a year, you're kidding me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was paying $10 in Rollinsford long before I moved, so,
Yeah, no, it's,
yeah, this isn't 100% right now, this was
Okay.
just what we have so far.
Sorry.
So I don't
I
know,
definitely vote for
I don't know that we had a
Raise
warrant,
it.
hey, I don't know that we had a warrant article coming out on that yet. Pat's talking about where we're going, but I don't know if he's got one for it, so. We'll see.
I'll do a
Good point.
petition.
Yeah,
Raise it.
I think if you raise the tipping fee, I think you're gonna see a lot more roads that clean up.
yeah, well, you're already seeing too much of that now, so yeah, there's
No,
a balance, there's a balancing act. Part of what they can do, as opposed to changing so much the $5 a year part of it, you may not necessarily have to change. But for people that have more waste and things like that, let them pay the additional fees is one of the things Pat talked about. You know, you go before it and get your stuff weighed as to what you're dropping off.
We did raise a few things.
Huh? He has raised a few. That's where he's trying to balance out the difference, why I think we haven't seen a warrant article. Because that's where the extra costs come in. It's not, there is an increased cost
I
on
was
some
gonna
of
say,
the
even the
regular trash, but it's
I
been
was gonna
mostly
say
on the stuff that he's got out there.
recycling
Yeah.
too.
Yep,
You gotta remember, China doesn't take the United States' cardboard anymore.
I'm sorry, what?
China does not take the United States' cardboard anymore.
No,
It's a lot of things that have changed in it.
you know, and I know that they actually closed down the cardboard at one point because people were throwing dirty stuff in there.
Yep. I'm
So-
going to actually try to, let me see if I can bring the tax cap one up for a minute here. Just so you guys will see it, and like I said, I'll get it out to you guys. Right there. So this is the current information. I didn't send it out right away because I figured it'd be easier to explain it here. Ernie sent me this when I'd come in to see him. So, talks about the appropriations and revenues. So when we talk revenue stream of things, this does have that information in there. So, the initial part, taxes raised in an application of the 1.1%, which is under the 2%, Northeast Regional CPI from 10/9/2019 to 10/2020. So appropriations, this is the actual default budget. When we talked earlier, that had the net budget, had everything else in there, and then you had warrant articles. That's
I'm
it's
not
not
doing
war
services.
service. Yeah, it's anybody that was involved with the war. No, it's the warrant articles and any of the encumbrances. Okay. Over here on the right, it's not Facebook. It's fund balance. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that you understood where this was going. So you've got the revenues, you've got warrant articles. That's the $60,000 from the fund balance that paid for some of those warrant articles. Becomes a revenue, and then the $900,000 that the Board of Selectmen also put forward towards that from the fund balance, okay? So, the maximum taxes able to be raised for 2021 after you go through all of that would be $3,285,931. You can see that just like the school gets offset by their revenue, the town gets offset by the revenue as well. That's how the tax rate ends up at a lower rate. The second table is what the maximum could be. Okay? And so you've got that is the maximum. The second one is what it will be, is what it meant to say. So the second one, if you go through and figure it all of it, it comes out to $3,187,929. So we are $98,000 under the cap, the max cap, which was the 1.1%. Okay? So the town is keeping everything under what it could be. So it's not just what we're seeing in the operating budget. It's overall on the tax cap as well. Okay? So I will forward that out to you guys.
Is that one reason why the tax rate was reduced?
Tax rate got reduced for the reduction in spending, but also the fact that we had a very high fund balance.
Right, no, I know
So
that,
they
but-
reduced the fund balance to more manageable numbers. I don't want to get into the actual numbers
What
themselves.
number did we take out of the fund balance? to lower that?
$900,000 was taken out of the fund balance.
That'd be pretty close to $2.
If you stop and figure that out at 20 cents a piece, that's $1.80. Yeah, roughly. And again, it's not quite. That's why I said it's not 20 cents anymore. So the reduction in taxes, I know my tax bill went down. I was very thankful, to see it.
Mine went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine did too.
So I think you're going to see that most people's went down the second half at a pretty good rate. So, and considering I paid my taxes in January, because of what the last one came out this year, I'm going to have 3 sets of taxes being paid. So we'll see what happens.
I paid mine before
Yeah, I could have, but I didn't. 'Cause
December 31st.
I had other things I wanted to use. So off on of that subject, we'll go back to the agenda. So that's the last thing I've got. Does anybody else have any business tonight?
Did you want to at least look at the school board?
The warrants?
Warrants
I could bring them
Same
up.
thing? I mean,
I could bring them up. Let's see. I got them from.
people can look at them at least.
Yep. We can touch on that. On the 11th day of August. I almost came back at them, and then I went. That was pretty good, and then ready for the March 9th vote. All right. So the first one is obviously Article 2, the election of officers for the school board, and then Article 2 being the budget, default versus proposed, which we just went through.
And that shows the revenues.
Yep. shows that you guys do have at least the school board recommendations at this point. And then it does show this, that the bottom 4,421,704 offset in revenues, means it will reduce the overall tax liability aspect of the 6.79 million. All right, Article 3, Capital Reserve Fund for the purchasing of and maintaining maintenance vehicles, $5,000. The penny, as we talked earlier, that's based on the 20 cents per 100,000. The next one being the library, for media. And I know that's separate from what we get for the library,
Yeah, that's,
books and
Just
other
the
things for
new-
the school. This is the library in general for everything, so that would also be a penny per thousand. Use the unreserved fund balance and raise and appropriate up to the sum of $50,000, be able to be placed in an expendable trust fund for the education of educationally disabled children, which is, that's been an ongoing.
Now, you realize that, we opted to take out $250,000 out of that fund, which will leave us a balance of 16, only if we need it.
Well, and again, that's up to you guys on how you need to utilize those funds. And know what it's for. Article 6 would be for the building, right? Maintenance, repair, renovation. Building, $50,000.
Yes.
yeah, these are.
Now, have you guys, and this is just a question separate from this, but you know how you got funding last year? And we've had funding at different times that have gone towards the building and the alarm systems and all that. Have we made progress on that? Towards the, fixing the systems?
The fire alarm, that was all from that,
I know from
he
the,
anticipated.
yeah, no, I
that
understand that,
fund,
it's just
right.
how we doing on that?
We will, how are we gonna do that? We're gonna make an attempt to, we can't do it here shortly, we have to do it over the summer, both buildings.
Okay, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, cause the kids need to be not in the building.
Well, no, I was kind of asking because I know the kids have kind of been not in the building, I didn't know if anything had.
That's not, they're in there 2 days, 3.
Yeah, two, 3, but right now they're out, so I didn't know what they were doing, so. And again, do you know, is there more, have you heard of any additional funding coming in that way?
I don't
Even
know.
though it's unanticipated, sometimes it's anticipated that it's
Maybe more
unanticipated
coming down
funds.
the road. They're working on it.
Whenever there's even a hint of a little bit of a grant,
That's kind of why I was asking,
Yeah,
to see
I
if
mean,
there was something.
they are all over it and.
Yep, alright, I didn't know if anything had been heard. Alright, the next one in here has to do with the school bus trust fund. $15,000.
Technology, yeah.
Then the technology piece.
So the only two with actual money, looking for money.
The first couple.
First to
yeah.
the library, which we do every year.
Yep.
And then trying to figure out what to do, number 3, with the trucks.
Yep.
I mean, we had last year, the one that was replaced by the town.
Yeah, no, I know about that.
And that one, oil was dripping, when you're plowing, you're going forward and backing up and the thing would stall. And you'd have to sit there for 10 minutes before you could go forward. It was, so then this year another one was, donated. And there was a problem with that one, Doug, something.
First to start with the 1.5 ton died.
Right, the big one that the ton and a half has some problems. And then the one that was donated has some problems. It was obviously a used one, it wasn't a brand new one. So it's like,
We had to borrow one
Okay.
to do our job.
Yep. So that is really the only new one.
To me, I think the best thing, and again, no matter how we look at it, it's a sales pitch that needs to be done. Now think about this. We were able to get the collective bargaining agreement through, so the people voted on that. Which, in past, it was No. So, you guys were able to bring, that's why I approved the budget, Doug. You guys were able to bring the budget in under the default. You're trying to turn around and do that to help offset costs. So, that's part of how you gotta pitch it when you try to, look, we're doing this to try to save in other areas because we know it's gonna cost here, so that it doesn't cost you more. So, that's about the best advice I can give you is, it is the best sales pitch you can put forward in showing them how you're trying to save in other areas, which you've done. So, but anyways, go through those. We'll be working on that at our next meeting, which I anticipate will be just after the holidays. I'm going to try to make sure that we have it in the first, I'm gonna try to have it in the first week of January after the holidays. There's 2 meetings scheduled that week. Right now, I'm anticipating it'll be the first Thursday of the month, which I will give you now. I don't wanna ruin I want everybody to have a good Christmas.
Yeah.
And we've done well this year. We're actually ahead of where we were. So the calendar, if I can even see it, for January will be January 7th. It's the 2nd. It's actually, it's the first Thursday of the month. Does that work for everybody?
Let me ask you a question. The Economic Development Committee.
Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
Alright, cause that meeting was always the first.
It's not, I wouldn't be too
Thursday.
concerned about it being that particular
Okay.
day this time, because I don't think anything's plated right
Okay.
now, at least it's not there. So I'm gonna shoot for the 7th, if I have to adjust, I'll make sure we get it out there. Does that work?
Now, will we be doing the warrant articles?
I will expect that, that's the reason I wanna give it
Both
time.
town and the school?
Yeah, I
so
wanna,
you'd want our
that's
school-
what I wanna try to do, if we need the extra, I don't expect it to be a long meeting trying to go through the warrant article piece. So we should be able to get them both done, if we're not, then we'll just have 2 short meetings in those 2 weeks. We need to, because, again, the reason I was trying to get this for us to read early is I don't want us to come up against the last minute like we did last year and then scrambling to make signatures. We're in pretty good shape right now as far as trying to deal with the two reports, the MS, what is it, the 7 and the 27 and the 737, yeah. Those two.
747?
737. No, I know it's the plane thing, but it's the 27 and the 737, depending on the school or town. They're the same basic budget pieces, so we need to have that ready. It looks like the deliberative session will be February 6th, is what I'm assuming. Isn't that what it looked like? I thought there was gonna be the first Saturday in February. It could be in January, which would be the last, it could be the last Saturday in January at the early point, but I expect that we're gonna do it on February 6th.
And do both of them again the same
Yeah,
day?
that's what I'm expecting, and we'll know more obviously with our upcoming meeting. But with that, we need to hold our public piece of it in January, and then of course the vote being in March. So, so that's the reason why I'm shooting for January 6th. I didn't want to try to hold our meeting the Thursday. The Christmas Eve was not really a good day for holding our regular meeting. I mean, it might be, but I don't think I want to see Larry lit. I mean, lit up. So, I had to share that. All right. Is there any other business? No? Then I will entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, without the roll call vote. Thank you. And I'm going to stop the recording and the streaming.